When you open the book up, you need to actually decide whether you're going to do even notes or whether you're going to do long tonic. I usually suggest doing long tonic because of the opportunity that you have of singing out nice long bows on the tonic. So it's good for your bowing, good for bowing practice, and also to listen to your tone. So I'm going to be talking about the long tonic scales. There are major scales, two that are only one octave, that's C major and F major. You have minor scales, two minor scales, G minor and D minor. Then you have three two-octave scales, G major, A major and B flat major. In the arpeggios you have the related arpeggios to the scales, so you have 7 altogether. I would recommend practicing your scale with your arpeggio. Some people take a lot of time learning their scales and then they forget about the arpeggios. You only have a little bit of time left to practice those. If you practice them together, then you will find them a little bit easier anyway. The difference between grade 1 and grade 2 violin on the minor section is that you will need to choose between natural, melodic and harmonic. Now they sound different. You only have to play the E minor scale for grade 1. So that was a natural form. The advantage of the harmonic is that it sounds the same going up as coming down, but the melodic one changes. So G minor harmonic, for example, you've got this interval. Now, some pieces of music have that interval, but not many. So it makes sense to choose the melodic form because you will hear that more often in pieces. So you will be actually playing that more in pieces as well. Looking at the one octave scales, you've got C major, for C major, you just need to make sure that you play your second finger back on the A string and on the D string, and you start on in tune C, and you haven't got a reference note to check it with. Play your G major scale and you go, you should be able to start on the right note. So a good way of practicing C major would be to do that at first, just to make sure that your third finger's in the right place. Remember, in the exam you'll just have to go, and if you don't get it right, then you don't get it right. F major just requires you to put your first finger back on the A string, but also on the E string. So make sure that you put your first finger back, and then the challenge is to make sure that your second finger is going to be in the right place when you put it down again. A lot of people actually move their whole hand when they play with the first finger, when you put the first finger back. You need to make sure you don't go like that, but you only put the first finger back without moving the position of the rest of the fingers. So you can practice doing that so that the first finger behaves itself. They are only one octave each. The G major scale is fairly straightforward. All you have to remember is to make sure that you stretch out your second finger on the D string and put it back on the A string because you've got a C natural. Then when you come to the top string, E, so of course on the E string you put your finger straight down for F sharp, same position as you would have for B on the A string and E on the D string. So just keep it in the same position. You go back for F natural on the E string. A major, now A major is a little bit more challenging because you've got a stretch. You have a G sharp, which means that when you start on A major, you're playing 1, 2, and then you stretch your third finger there. And then when you get onto the D string, you do the same. You've got an F sharp as well, so you've got a high second finger. Then you've got a high G sharp as well. And then you've got A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp. So, and then you stretch out your second finger for G sharp as well. So I would say that that's a bit tricky from the point of view of the G sharp on the D string. You need to get used to stretching your second and your third finger out on that one. B flat major, again, you need to get the right note to begin with when you're playing, if you're playing in an exam. So is something that is a good idea to play: G, A and B flat, and that will help you play the G minor scale as well, because of course that's the first three notes of the G minor scale. So then you know where to start. So you start B flat major there. Then when you come to the D string, you put your first finger back because it's E flat. So again, you've got this issue to do with putting your first finger back without disturbing the rest of the fingers, so that when your second finger goes down, listen to that, because it might be a little bit flat. Your whole hand might have moved back, so you need to make sure it's in the right place. When you come to the B flat on the A string, you've got the first finger back again, and then when you come to the top of the E string, you've got E flat right at the top. Oh, you can't play E open string, of course. You will have to play it with the fourth finger on the A string. So there are some challenges around B flat major and A major. I would say that those two need a bit more practice than the G major and the F major and the C major. So that might help you plan your practice time as well. G minor melodic is, you have to make sure that your second finger is back on the G string, and that it's back also coming down on the D string in the usual place going up. And then you've got a second finger that's stretched out on the D string. The good thing is you've only got it for an octave. Same as a D minor. So if you're doing the melodic version of the D minor, you would start on open D, and then you would play second back, and then when you come to the A string, you've got second forward on the way up, and then back on the way down, and your first finger will be back on that A string coming down as well. So in a melodic minor scale, going up, that's ascending, you have the 6th and the 7th raised, and on the way down you lower them again. So that's the way that it works. That's the pattern of the melodic minor scale. So just quickly onto the arpeggios. You need to work out how you're going to make sure that that first note is in tune to begin with. Remember, an arpeggio is the first, the third and the fifth notes of the scale. Make sure that you remember that, because if you forget how to play an arpeggio, say you had a memory lapse in the exam, you can always work it out that way. So if you know it's a C major arpeggio, you know it's going to be the first, the third and the fifth notes. It's going to be C, E and G, and then you won't feel stuck.